Welcome back to another episode of Radio Entrepreneurs. Today's episode is coming to you from the offices of Best of Care here in Quincy, Mass. My name is Kevin Smith. I'm your host today. I'm the owner of Best of Care, and we are joined by our first guest today, Julie Faqir, who is the new Executive Director of the Home Care Aide Council of Massachusetts. How are you doing today, Julie?
I'm very well, thank you, Kevin.
Thanks for coming in. And Julie, I just wanted to give you sort of the opportunity to introduce yourself to the industry and to the community now that you're the new Executive Director of the Home Care Aide Council, and was hoping that you could just start off by telling us a little about your background and how you got here.
Of course. My name is Julie Faqir. I came to the Home Care Aide Council from the Massachusetts legislature, where I was a senior legislative aide to the late Representative Chris Walsh for the last 4.5, almost 5 years. And I have an extensive background in community and government relations. I come from California, and in Los Angeles I was the scheduling director to Mayor Richard Reardon for the first term that he served back in the late 90s, early 2000s. I came to the Home Care Aide Council when I was looking to move on from the State House. Was very interested because I'm interested in the whole caregiver, home care aide industry, knowing people that have had experiences both as caregivers and working with home care aides, and I thought it was a wonderful opportunity, so I applied, and here I am.
And it's also no secret that I helped to interview as a member of the Home Care Aide Council. I think that what drew us to you as an organization was your sort of deep experience and knowledge of legislative issues, of the network that exists politically in Massachusetts. And having those tools and having those connections is definitely important for this job, especially when you're speaking and acting and working on behalf of tens and thousands of home care workers across the state of Massachusetts. So another thing that I just wanted to talk about is, what's the experience been so far? I know you're only, how many days in are you now?
A week and a half.
Okay. So a week and a half in, what's the litmus test? What's the temperature so far on this position?
Well, it's definitely a position that required me to hit the ground running, but I like that. I like a steep learning curve because it keeps me on my toes. It also keeps me involved with the board of directors, with the executive committee, with the different agencies that we work with.
Yeah.
And in the last 8 days, I've had opportunity to do that multiple times.
So as far as any of your expectations go, has this met, exceeded, or just totally sort of blown away whatever expectations you had walking in based on what you've seen so far?
I try not to have expectations because I know that they never are what they're going to be. I think it's exceeded the expectations. You always, when you're going into a new role, you always think, well, the first few days are going to be you're reading files and you're getting your feet wet, and then it never happens that way. And especially with this position, with all the issues that are affecting our industry and the council right now, it's just been a flurry of activity, which is great.
That is great. And just for our listeners and those watching this as well, why don't you give a little bit of background about some of the specific sort of hot button or big ticket issues that are facing the council right now?
Well, we currently are working on trying to obtain appropriate or influence appropriate regulations for the EMAC hardship waiver. EMAC is a supplement that was assessed on the industry and other businesses the beginning of this year, beginning of 2018,
Right.
to help defray the costs of mass health
Right.
and the connector. And because a lot of our employees, a majority of our employees do mass health, we get hit very hard on this.
Right.
It's going to be about $7 million this year to the members of the council.
Wow.
And one of the things that we're trying to do is influence the regulations or help model the regulations so that they're fair to the industry and they enable us to either get a complete exemption from the supplement that we have to pay quarterly, or at least to recognize that those agencies that work with the government through their contracts with EOEA, Elder Affairs, and the ASAPs, that they will not have to pay the supplement because it is a true burden. So we started to work on a letter to send to the Department of Unemployment Assistance, and we found out the draft regulations were coming out late Friday, and there was going to be a listening session on Monday the 17th.
Right.
So we worked very closely with you and with the executive committee, helped to draft remarks for you to testify on Monday, and are preparing comments to submit before the end of the week to hopefully get the regulations so that they recognize the different hardships that they're causing to our industry and other industries.
Well, I think you described that accurately so far in terms of everything that we're facing. And one of the biggest challenges for us in this industry is the fact that we have no ability to defray the cost of this supplement. Home care agencies that work with the state negotiate their rates with the state, and there's no wiggle room to come up with the money, to pay the fees that have been assessed. So I think that's a challenge, and I think, you've only been here a week and a half, but you'll see there are a number of other challenges that face not only the employer agencies here in the state, but also the home care aides themselves. So is there anything specific that you're looking forward to as far as engagement, with your membership and with the aides at these companies in the coming months and years?
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to meeting the rest of the members. We're going to be doing that, the opportunity on October 3rd to interact with everybody and to at least introduce myself to the rest of the membership that I have not met yet. And looking forward to making the rest of the Commonwealth, the legislature, not the agencies, and the general population aware of what the Home Care Aid Council does, how we work to set the standards, to train, and we are the leader in this industry in that regard with development of curriculum for training, with the opportunities for training for our members and their aides, and to get the word out that we recognize there's going to be an increasing need for well-trained, well-compensated home care aides, and to be working on our increasingly growing elder population that are going to be needing more assistance.
I'm glad that you said that, because it seems like anytime anybody in this industry gets together, everybody wants to talk about that stat, that hot stat of 10,000 people turning 65 a day. But it's real, and I think that the Home Care Aid Council is one of the few organizations in the state who's actually trying to do something to prepare for this and plan for the need for home care services that are coming at us very quickly in the state. And I just wanted to know, as you have the chance to sit here and talk with me, is there anything specific before you meet with our membership that you would like to sort of say or mention to them, either about yourself or about what you plan to do and what's in store for the council?
One of the things that I'm very interested in doing, and I mentioned this to you when I first met you, when you and Leslie interviewed me, was reaching out to aid entities like the Elder Affairs Councils in the various municipalities, because a lot of time when the seniors and the relatives of the people that need the care, they don't know what to do, they don't know how to reach out, how to find an agency. The first place they're going to go is their Elder Affairs department. Right. And I really want to make sure that all of the Elder Affairs agencies and entities in the municipalities throughout the Commonwealth are aware that the Home Care Aid Council exists.
Right.
And what our mission is, the proper training, the proper screening, so we have a prepared workforce
right.
to help with what they need. One of the other things I want to do is, and I want to let our membership know, is I'm very interested, and I know that when you were interviewed recently for this podcast, you talked about the partnership that you have with Quincy College,
yes.
and working with more of the community colleges and the vocational schools, who are also developing training programs, and to work with them from the council's perspective, help them plan their curriculum. So there's a workforce there, and there are jobs for those people when they come out of those programs. Those are two of my big priorities.
I think those are excellent initiatives, because partnership with community-based institutions and educational institutions, colleges, vocational schools, I really do believe that they're going to be a viable source of candidates for our workforce moving forward, because everybody knows that this industry needs to turn over every stone possible to try to find new candidates for the workforce and infuse new workers into our workforce and give them meaningful jobs with significant and important and high quality training, which is, I think, where the council will come into play extensively. So Julie, thanks for joining us today. I really appreciate you taking the time to come here and interview with us. And we're going to take a break, and we'll be right back after these messages.